Hey, it's Kevin. Thanks so much for coming by for the No BS social media chat. Today we're talking about knowing your strengths when it comes to social media. You know, I'll be the first to admit I'm not young, I'm not pretty, I'm not a girl, very obviously. And it's funny to watch young females do social media. It's funny to watch young people do social media. But at the same time, I apply some of the lessons for my social media that I'm encouraging you to apply for yours. And it's about knowing your strengths. At the end of the day, nobody wants to see a selfie of me. I can throw up a throwback Thursday photo I did a few weeks ago of one of my photos from college, and it got a lot of response. Not necessarily on Instagram where I thought it would get response. I got it more on Facebook, but then again, on Facebook it was more people who've known me for all those many years ago. But I find it funny when you talk about the Paris Hiltons and when you talk about, well, I guess the Kardashian family for that matter, when you talk about the Jenner kids, they all know their strengths. A lot of people can say they don't have any talent, and that may be true in a true what is talent sense of the word. But what they know when it comes to being famous is know their strengths. And they know how to take a good picture, and they know how to pose for it. And while it's vapid and while it's shallow, it's obviously built their brand. And maybe you need to think about, well, what is your strength? You know, it's funny, Instagram was one of those sites that I got into personally much earlier than I started really telling my clients they needed to be involved with it, because I was just interested in it. I've always been an observant kind of person where I like to observe the world around me and share that more than I like to share pictures of myself. I've never been one to like to have my photo taken. I don't mind the video for some reason. I've always said I look better in 3D than I do in 2D. I'm joking, but then again, I'm not. But what was interesting was, as I started honing my strategy for my personal Instagram, I realized that every time I posted a picture of a neon sign, my numbers were huge. If I posted something just about a general funny thing I saw down the road, whether it was a weird license plate or a weird car or just weird people, get a few likes and things like that. But I was building a following of this whole sign community, of this whole retro Americana community. So I started honing my Instagram to do more of that. And then I started doing pictures of what we call ghost signs, old painted signs. They usually come back from the 1920s, 1930s, on the sides of barns, on the sides of brick buildings. I've been fascinated with those for years, so I started posting pictures of those and saw that a unique group of people really liked those. So I split off my Instagram account and created an Instagram account just for the ghost signs. And the numbers started flourishing there. It was almost like it was a separate audience. It's knowing your audience, and it's giving your audience what they want. Now, it's one thing, if you're not using an Instagram for growth, if you're just using it for fun, say like my wife would use it for fun, that's okay. It's no big deal. You just do what makes you happy. But if you're using it for business, if you're using it to build your professional career, you have to understand what your strengths are. You have to understand what works best for you, and you have to sometimes play to it. A lot of times I work with artists and I look at their YouTube numbers, and even when they don't put up a lot of content on YouTube, I see they have a lot of subscribers and they get a lot of repeated views. Now sometimes they may be young and attractive, and that may be what's driving people to those channels. So why don't you play to your strength? It's not a bad thing. It's important to understand what you're trying to do is using social media for professional use, is you're trying to grow a fan base, you're trying to grow a following, you're trying to build numbers, you're trying to build engagement. So you have to understand what your strengths are. I've got some people who are great at blog posts who write these wordy, wonderful missives, almost like narratives. You don't need any pictures with that. You don't need any video with that. They're great at that, so they don't write them often because they're time consuming, because they're time to read and time to write. But they write these things and they prepare for them, and they work and they get the desired results they're looking for. So again, understanding your strengths, whether it's video, whether it's pictures, whether it's prose, whatever it may be, play to your strengths, play to your audience, and more importantly, watch the audience, pay attention to the audience. We've talked about understanding the metrics and understanding the numbers. I mean, metrics is a fancy marketing word, but at the end of the day, it's looking at the numbers saying, hey, I posted this picture on Instagram and I got a lot more likes than I normally did. I wonder if I post a similar picture like that or something in that vein again, if I'll get the same results. And if you do, you go for it. Now, it's one thing, again, like I said, if you're young, you're pretty, go to any Instagram page that's got a young, pretty girl and see how many bathing suit pictures there are on there. And then see the numbers, see the likes, see the comments on those things. Always a lot of engagement. Because if you're young and you're pretty and you're wearing a bathing suit, okay, you're going to get a lot of pervs, but at the same time, you're going to get a lot of engagement. You're going to get a lot of connectivity, and that's what it's all about in the end. I'm not saying you have to go out and post bathing suit pictures, but understand your strengths, understand what your audience is wanting from you, and give it to them. We're going to give you another No BS video next week. NoBSSocial.com is the website where you find all of our No BS videos. You can also find us on Facebook, find us on YouTube. Wherever you found us this week, I just ask you to come back in next week. My phone number, my email, you want to get in touch with me? Let's talk, let's chat, let's go back and forth. It's coming up here at the end of the video. Thanks. See you next week.